The markets are nervous is probably a good word. And remember what I said last week on this show, that we have the majority of people out there, about 95% of the people that I talk to, if I ask them what their level of knowledge regarding investing is, they say it's low. And these same people are the people that drive the markets. You have the bulls and the bears, people that think that the market's going to go up, people that think that the market's going to go down, and there's a tug-of-war going on all the time. And if the bulls win, the market goes up, and if the bears win, the market goes down. And most of those people that are the bulls and the bears consider themselves to have a low level of knowledge regarding investing. It's a real problem. So I don't have Andre's last name on the board, but we have Andre from SeeWhy, and we're going to talk about the need for financial education, and we're going to talk about what SeeWhy does, and in a few moments we'll have David Ingram as a guest as well, knows more about income tax than anybody I know. So let's talk to Andre. Andre, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you, Fred. I listen to your show whenever I get the opportunity, and it's an honor to be here.
Well, thank you for coming on. Now, tell us about yourself and tell us about SeeWhy and why SeeWhy is different from other organizations that do what you do.
Well, thank you.
For example, how about Forehand?
Okay.
If I can use a word like that on this show.
Well, there's a few different companies out there that do offer services that are similar to ours. I prefer to talk about ourselves rather than the competition.
Sure.
What we do here at SeeWhy is we help people pass the regulatory exams that they need to in order to obtain either their securities, mutual fund, or insurance licenses.
Mm-hmm.
Where we are really unique is we know that our clients come to us because they need help passing those exams, or maybe they don't need the help, but they want to get through it a little bit quicker. And where we're unique is we know they've come to us to help pass that exam, and if they don't pass, we don't take their money. Our motto is, if you don't pass, you don't pay.
So here's a question for you. Would your services be useful for the general public or just advisors?
Well, if the general public is interested in just learning more about the industry, then what they could do is buy one of our study guides that talks about the course and covers a lot of the same content, but in a very simple manner. So a lot of people purchase our materials either to help pass the exam or to learn just a little bit more about the industry, or maybe just to read through it and decide, is this an industry that they want to get into? So they come to us for a number of different reasons.
Would you recommend that people who are not advisors do that?
I would. I mean, obviously...
Would it help them with their investing?
It definitely would. You want to, when it comes to investing, you absolutely want to have the advice of a professional, but it can't hurt to educate yourself a little bit so that you know what questions to ask, and you can have a good conversation with your advisor. Okay,
so you have the Canadian Securities course, you have the CPH. What other courses do you have?
Okay, well, I should mention that we are not the actual course provider, so we don't have the Canadian Securities course. But what we do is we help people learn that content, and the support that we offer, we do securities, mutual funds, insurance, and in Ontario, we even do real estate.
How about the CFP designation?
Not at this time.
Not yet?
No, not at this time.
Okay. So, how long has your company been around?
Well, myself and my associates have been in the industry as trainers for over 10 years, but the SeeWhy banner is fairly new. It's new on the scene. But again, we've been in the industry over 10 years.
And for the sake of our listeners, they can go to your webpage. You have a webpage. Tell us about your webpage.
Absolutely. Our address is www.seewhylearning.com, and that's not CY as in the letters. It's SEE.
It's SEA, right?
Learning.com. Sorry?
It's SEA.
Oh, it's SEE.
Oh, excuse me. SEE is what I meant to say. Yeah, I can't even spell today.
Oh, did I? My apologies.
No, it's me. Too early in the day for me. But in any event, if you wanna, if you Google that and you went in and you just typed in SeeWhy, you'd find your webpage, wouldn't you?
Yes, you would. You would. And
okay,
you can also,
and so you can go there and you can look at the material there. Now, I'm going to say, as a financial advisor, that there isn't any investor or investment representative or investment advisor that is out there that could not benefit from your course. Even if you're not in the industry, I believe that everybody should take this course. I think it's an awesome investment.
Well, thank you.
Do you have any giveaways that we can encourage people to give us a call?
Any giveaways?
Yeah.
Well,
like a manual or a course or what?
Absolutely. If any of the callers would like to call in, we'll be welcome to give them a free study guide, maybe a mouse pad. But yeah, sure, absolutely.
So you'll provide anybody who calls the show with a study guide and a mouse pad. Fair ball?
That sounds like a good deal to me, for sure.
So if you have a question regarding SeeWhy, get on the line and give us a call. And David Ingram has just joined us. And David, to bring you up to date, we're talking about the need for financial education. And I want to focus on that particular issue. There's a whole bunch of areas that people need to understand. You have the issues, cross-border issues with RRSPs, Americans living in Canada. You have the issues regarding the TFSA accounts, which would be a disaster for an American citizen living in Canada. People need to know this stuff, and they don't, generally speaking. I run into people endlessly who are American citizens that have RRSPs that are required by law to report those RRSPs to the tax authorities in the States. They don't even know it, and if they get caught, they get a serious fine. So these are just some of the issues that people need to understand. And I can tell you right now that when I open up a new account for a client, I have what they call an NCAF form, NCAF, and that form, part of that form, the heart of that form involves a number of questions. The first question is, what are your investment objectives? Is it income growth or aggressive growth? The second part of the question is, what is your tolerance for risk? Is it low, moderate, or high? And then the next part of that form involves your financial knowledge. Are you sophisticated? Is your level of knowledge high? Is it average, or is it low? Almost everybody says low. So, Andre, how do you respond to that? Would you agree with me?
That most investors, their objective is or low risk tolerance? No,
their knowledge is low.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's higher than 95%. I speak in public a lot. I've had large audiences in front of me and small audiences, but I've had as many as 1,000 people in an audience. As for a show of hands, how many people in this room right now would consider their level of knowledge when it comes to investing to be low, and almost everybody puts their hand up?
Yeah, I would agree with that, Fred, but I also think that's changing. A good example of that is your show. Well,
thank you for saying that, because you're absolutely, that is what I'm trying to do. That is my mission. I listened to a program on CNN last week, and about 3 hours of that program, if not more, was devoted to the subject of the need for financial education. So the message is finally striking home. Why don't they teach this stuff in the schools?
That's a great question. I myself have a teenage daughter, and you leave school without really any education on basic stuff like budgeting and how to handle money. Never mind investing. So yeah. I totally agree with you there.
And David, your comments?
Well, I was just going to say I've still got a teenage daughter at home too, and she's 18, and the one thing I want to do is live to be at least another 20 years so that I can see her with a 15-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was going to make the comment that just when I think I've just about got all the knowledge that I need in that stuff, something comes along and blows my brain out. It doesn't matter how much you know, how many years you've been in the business, where you're coming from. Somebody comes along with a new product, a new tax idea, a new thing that this is going to work and this is going to be the solution to all mankind. And you look at it and you say, what is this supposed to be? So the thing that we all have to watch out for is sort of keep it simple, stupid. And if the people don't understand what they're buying, they shouldn't buy it.
That's what Warren Buffett says.
Number one, if you don't understand what you're buying, don't buy it. Doesn't matter what kind of suit the guy's wearing or the woman's wearing or how nice her person's shoes match, but you just don't buy it if you don't understand what it is. What are you getting yourself into?
And the only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
Yeah. And that's a good point to put it. And Fred, I mean, I'll give you my compliment too. I don't know what I was out for the first 10 minutes trying to make coffee this morning, and I don't know what was said before me, but you and your education and your seminars, I mean, I don't know, you're up into the 400 or 500 seminars in your office now, and I was out with you at BC. We did seminars all over the place when you're doing the SMS seminars. You've devoted thousands of hours and thousands,
over 20 years.
Thousands and thousands of dollars producing stuff that you give to your clients so they can be educated more. And it's so much fun saying, and I'm not doing a takeoff, but I'll be at one of your seminars, and for the sake of argument, there'll be a 75 or 78-year-old woman there that finally sees the difference between bonds and interest and dividends and stock ownership and so on. And this is the kind of thing that people can live for 60 years and not understand what the difference is, or they'll suddenly understand why they bought a bond and it went down in value. That's the kind of stuff you teach, and this is what people have to learn, whether you're 15 or 75 or 85.
Well, you got it. And we're talking with Andre from SeeWhy. So, Andre, just again, give us a great big infomercial on your product. You got the mic, buddy.
Okay. Well, we specialize in educating people, either to pass the regulatory exams or just to learn a little bit more about the industry and products. And if your end game is to pass the exam, we are so confident in our materials that we guarantee you pass or we give you your money back. And what that forces us to do is to keep our materials top-notch because, of course, if somebody doesn't pass and asks for their money back, we actually lose money because it does cost us money for our product. So, but we thought that was the right thing to do to align our success with our clients, and so far it's working out well for us.
Yeah, and I'm here on this show today. I'm not specifically addressing financial advisors that are out there. I could be. If there's any financial advisor out there that's looking for a position, we're always recruiting. And you want to get into the industry, you have to pass these exams. That's what your company is talking about. You help to tutor people to pass the Canadian Securities course, the Partners, Officers, and Directors, the CPH course. There's all these regulatory exams that people have to pass. You have the one for life insurance, and on and on and on. And that's what your company is dedicated to teaching people what they need to know to pass these exams. And what I'm saying here now is that the advice that I would give individuals out there, I think the best financial education that anybody out there who is interested in equities, is interested in the stock market, is interested in financial planning, the best thing that anybody out there could do is take one of your courses, even if they have no intention of ever becoming a financial advisor. They just want to be an investor. Make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, again, you got to know the right questions to ask, and you need to rely on a professional. You need to have a professional advisor for your investments and for insurance and legal issues. But it helps to have some knowledge yourself that you can, number one, pick an advisor that you're comfortable dealing with, and again, be able to ask them the right questions. And as your previous caller said, if you don't understand an investment, it doesn't make sense to buy it.
Yeah, I give people a little tip. Anybody that's listening to this show right now, if they have an iPhone, you can get a free download from the Apple Store, Canadian Securities course, flashcards right on your iPhone.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen that before, and it's a neat product.
Yeah, it's so you're sitting at an airport or something waiting for a plane, just feed your brain. Go through the flashcards.
Absolutely.
Again, the product that you guys offer is financial education. Just as I offer financial education, you offer financial education, and the likelihood of anyone passing a regulatory exam who has taken and used your material, the likelihood of them passing is really quite high. And if they don't, you refund their money, and if they do, you just said you don't make any money.
Absolutely.
So how do you survive?
Well, that's what forces us to keep our materials in just top quality. Even though we think they're great now, we keep trying to make them better. And it also feeds into the customer service. If somebody's purchased one of our training programs, we'll go above and beyond and encourage them to email us if they have questions. We also offer telephone tutoring at a very reasonable cost because, again, we want people, when they buy our program, we want them and we need them to pass. Otherwise, we can't survive as a business.
Yeah, I always have trouble, for some reason or another, differentiating between technical analysis, fundamental analysis, and quantitative analysis. It's the quantitative that I always have a problem with. So if I had trouble with that one, I could phone you and say, hey, help me with this.
Yeah, absolutely. Our study guides are written in a manner that basically we've written them in the same way of speaking that we would if we were in front of a classroom. And what you'll find with a lot of courses or any exams or textbooks is they're written like a textbook. And sometimes that's hard to understand. So what we do with our materials is we really dummy it down. We make it as simple as we can. And then we'll often take a concept and relate it to something totally different, but everyday life type of scenario. We'll use an analogy, and then we'll tie that back to the learning. Yeah. So it makes the reading a little bit more enjoyable, a little lighter, and obviously much easier to understand.
Like, for example, with the two volumes of the Canadian Securities course, Volume 1 and Volume 2, you have something like, I think it's 248 flashcards.
Correct.
Okay, so you just know those flashcards, you're probably going to pass.
What the flashcards are designed to do, they're online, and so they get immediate access when they purchase it. But it's kind of like having your own tutor. The program is going to ask you a question, you answer it in your own words, and then you click on the answer button, and it will explain that concept, and then also have other information to help you with the learning. And then you also get exam prep questions, which prepare you for exams.
Yeah, well, I think as an example, in Volume 1, you have your flashcards as well. You have 3 trial exams.
Correct.
100 questions each.
Correct.
And then in Volume 2, it's the same thing.
Absolutely.
So you get 3 trial exams, and you can try as many times as you want.
Yeah, and we encourage you to do that.
So you keep doing them until you get in the 90s, and then you're probably ready to write.
That's exactly it.
Okay, and that's all on the internet. So tell me something. What's it cost?
What do our programs cost?
Yeah.
Well, it depends. For each exam, we've got different levels of product. We've got our online content, which generally for most programs is about $99. If you're interested in Canadian Securities course, exam number 1, right now we're running a summer promo where we're giving people 20% off. But our online content's $99. And then if you want the study guide on its own, it's $79. But if you buy them as a package, you get it for $149.
And everybody that calls the show gets one of those study guides.
Absolutely. I hope you're getting their name and address.
Yeah, but so far,
I'm just going to stick my name on the list.
It doesn't look like we've inspired anybody to call at this particular point. So, ladies and gentlemen, listeners out there, listen up, okay? You want to do better financially. You want to enhance your financial knowledge. You want to take a step forward and learn more about what you need to know to make better financial decisions. Get on the line and give us a call. The number to call is area code 604-280-0650. Long distance, free call, 877-280-0650. We're talking about the need for financial education right now. And we're talking with Andre from SeeWhy Financial. And their company is dedicated to teaching people how to pass the regulatory exams, at least most of them that are out there right now. And all financial advisors have to pass these exams, and they have to upgrade at least every 3 years. You're required to get continuing educational material, and it's a requirement to stay licensed. If you're in this business and you don't stay up to date, you won't have a license for very long. So the regulatories require all financial advisors to be educated and to stay up to date. Up to date is the key word. So, Andre, I'm going to take some calls. We've got some calls coming in here right now. All of a sudden, somebody decided to get up and go to the phone. So we're just waiting for a name here on the board, and we'll take that call and talk to that particular person. Anybody who calls, you can talk to Andre as well if you want, okay? So the advice that I would give, I'm sure that David would agree with me, I'm sure that Andre would agree with me, is financial education is an ongoing requirement, because just as computers change, the rules regarding money change on a regular basis. Whoever would have expected the meltdown that we had in 2008? Who ever would have expected the problems that we have in Europe right now? Who would have expected that? Who could have seen that coming? Maybe we should have. Some people will say that, but not very many people got it right. So once again, the number to call is area code 604-280-0650. A long distance free call 877-280-0650. We're going to give away a second opinion on your investment portfolio in writing. Written financial plan, as always, that's all complimentary. A seat at our next workshop, which will be about how to invest money and get money so that all of your money is not inside your house, your pension plan, and your RRSP, how to get money outside to balance your overall investment program. That will be the content of our next workshop. We will reserve a spot for anybody who calls the show. As well, I'm going to give away dinner at the Thai House. All you got to do is make a call. You get a wonderful dinner at the Thai House restaurant right beside our office. So when you come in to see me, you can get yourself a dinner, and you can bring your better half. And hey, it's not even taxable. It's deductible to me, but it's not taxable to you. So here's an opportunity to get a free lunch or a free dinner and not even pay tax on it. Let's talk to Joe in North Vancouver. Joe, welcome to the program.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, Joe. How are you?
Great. I've listened to you a number of times. I've almost come to a couple of your seminars, and then something has come up, but I'd like to come. I'd like to get this program to understand the securities and investment at a much better than I am at this present time. So I phoned in to see if I could get the manuals that you're giving away and come in and see you personally and go over my portfolio. I think I've done a very reasonable job of putting away for my future in investment, but at this stage of the game, I'm planning on retiring, and I'm wondering exactly if I'm going in the right avenue.
How often do you get a medical checkup?
I beg pardon?
How often do you get a medical checkup?
How often do I get a medical checkup? Let's put it this way. I've had one about a year ago.
Okay. Are you in good health?
The doctor told me that for my age that I'm probably at the top 7-8%.
Okay. Well, then you're in pretty good shape. But
So,
you still get a checkup, and that's the point I'm trying to make here. So
Yeah.
Same thing applies to your money. You may think you're doing okay, but it's time to check it every now and then. So you can call Frida. You can call Frida at the office right now. She's down there at 731-8900. Give Frida a call. Make an appointment. Come in and see me.
731-8900. 8100. And I'd also like to get that informational sheet there, so maybe I can educate myself.
If you go in there, you won't get the information. We'll have to order that from Andre, but
Okay.
we'll know how many of those we need by the time the show is over. But when you come to see me, you can also treat yourself to lunch or dinner at the Thai House, which is right beside our office.
Excellent. I will definitely. And when's your next seminar?
Next seminar is this coming Thursday.
At where at?
That's right at same spot, right at my office, 1765 West 7th.
So 7:30 this Thursday.
It's 7 o'clock this Thursday.
Oh, this 7 o'clock this Thursday. And, can I bring closer?
You can bring your better half. Are you
You
there?
can have people show up with
Hello?
a financial advisor sometimes.
Oh, sometimes, sure. Okay. So, Joe, I can't tell you how much I appreciate your call. Do you have a question to ask Andre? I guess Joe's gone. Joe, thanks for calling. I appreciate your call. And Joe's line is now open, and we do have some open lines. So if you're out there, you're listening to the show, this is your chance to get some very valuable information, get a second opinion on your investment portfolio, to get a written financial plan, a seat at our next workshop, and to get yourself a free dinner at the Thai House restaurant. Simply a phone call does it all. It's all complimentary, no cost, no obligation of any kind whatsoever. And again, we're talking to Andre SeeWhy Financial, specializing in financial education. We have Melody in Roberts Creek on the line. Melody, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm just phoning because I am very interested in increasing my knowledge of financial investments and so on, and I've been listening to a variety of financial shows over the years, and I still consider my knowledge low. I know a little bit, but I find it all very overwhelming, and would just like to know more. I'm heading into retirement, and one of my principal interests is helping my grown children to understand and do well in the financial scene as they progress through their lives and their children.
You know, and that's a really good comment. All of our listeners out there listening to the show, you say, well, I'm not for that. I'm okay. I have a financial advisor right now. I don't need to know any more than I already know. But what about your kids? Don't you have an obligation to teach your kids how to make your mortgage tax deductible, how to budget, how to select investments, how to create a financial plan? What about your kids? You're absolutely right, Melody. Very, very good comment.
Yeah, well, as far as our grown children go, they've done something fairly interesting. They've purchased a home together. So two couples have purchased a home at, Vancouver's very high cost.
Yes.
And they're fixing it up, and they have a small rental at the back, and it's just a workshop, but, it's still a tax deduction for them. And, we've been telling them for years, you've got to get a home-based business, and they're just, they're working towards it. They haven't been able to pull it off yet. But
you must be listening to this show all the time if you're talking about a home-based business.
Well,
things that we recommend all the time.
Yeah, it's so very easy to do. You just have to decide what it's going to be and then implement it. But I find that young people in their 20s and 30s just have so much on their plates these days. It seems proportionately a great deal more than we did. I'm just coming up to 60. But I really am so keen to have more financial information and somebody that I can talk to and say, okay, this may be a dumb question, but I don't get it. Please explain in really
like I said earlier,
terms.
The only dumb question is the one you don't ask.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no dumb questions, none at all.
Yeah.
Fred, if I can just make a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
And Melody mentioned at the beginning of her call that the investment world is overwhelming, and I think the industry sometimes does a great job of making it seem overly complicated. But a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of simplified knowledge, it doesn't need to be overwhelming. I wonder how many investors out there right now have money in bank accounts where they're earning interest and they're paying tax on that interest. They haven't heard about the tax-free savings account that you talked about earlier. Sometimes just some very simple, easy-to-understand ideas can make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're bang on. You know, what education does, it teaches you what you don't know. We don't know what we don't know. And even if you put your toes in the shallow end of the pond, at least you've made a start. And then you start to know what you don't know. And that motivates you to learn more. So you start the process. That's what it's all about.
Exactly.
And Melody, I don't know how often you get over here to Vancouver, but you can attend our next workshop. That's no cost, no obligation. You're entitled to dinner at the Thai House, and we'll make sure you get the book.
Okay, well, that's great. I really appreciate it, and I actually used to listen to your program very regularly a number of years ago, and then for some reason lost track of where you were broadcasting, and my husband heard your show a couple of weeks ago, so I decided that I'd make a point of tuning in, and I'm really glad I did.
No, welcome
So you're
back.
back. Welcome back. You know where we are now. Appreciate your call. Enjoy the rest of the weekend.
Thanks very much.
Thanks, Melody.
Thanks, Melody.
Bye.
Melody's line is now open, so if you've just joined us, that line is available, and we have a couple of open lines at this particular point as well, and we will talk to Yvette in Vancouver. Yvette, welcome to the program.
Fred, let me just make a comment. When we have a permanent caller on the line, it's very difficult for our operator to answer a phone when the phones are ringing. So if you phone...
It isn't now, they've fixed it.
Oh, they fixed it?
Yeah.
Well, okay, I apologize. And I was just going to make an observation because...
Well, it was a good comment.
Yeah, because...
But they fixed that problem.
All right.
Okay, let's talk to Yvette in Vancouver. Yvette, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you. Hi there.
Yvette.
Yeah, I just been listening also for the first time to your station. I actually listen to other stations, but I'm happy to have caught this because, like one of the last callers that called, she was saying that you get overwhelmed because what you don't know is a dark area, and you're afraid of the dark. So you have to get slowly learning, how to handle your finances. And
Absolutely.
I've found that in just having lost a whole generation of elders on my mother and father's side, they're all gone, and it's like, wow, we're now responsible to keep our community growing and our families. Yeah, we're the elders.
Yeah,
right?
and we're all, every single one of us are a day older than we were yesterday.
Exactly.
And today is the first day of the rest of our life.
Exactly.
You got it.
Exactly. And life is just, it's overwhelming. It's absolutely overwhelming sometimes. And with recession time, I can see my 4 children must feel it dramatically, and yet they've just got what they've got through their parents. They've actually taken more financial seminars than I ever have in my lifetime.
And that's probably because there's more available too.
There is more now. Yeah, there is more. But I also find like my attitude is not like theirs is. My attitude is I have to really do a very strong shifting of my mind to be open to this kind of learning. Yep. Because it wasn't taught to us in school. It wasn't taught to us at home. It's not been offered in our community. So we're kind of susceptible to just our own ignorance,
Sure.
Yeah,
No
and
question.
so I would love to. The fact that my kids travel all the time abroad, I'd love to find out more about the American-Canadian laws coming and income tax declaration. I'd like them to find that out. Mm-hmm. And one of them is in town right now, and I was just wondering when is the time that you're having your
it's next Thursday.
seminar?
Thursday at noon and at 7 p.m.
Yep.
Every Thursday, noon and 7 p.m.
Noon and 7?
Yep.
Okay.
At my office, and you can book a seat there if you give Frida a call right now at 731-8900.
Oh, yeah.
Okay?
She's there today.
Yep. And we got all the other stuff that we're going to give you for calling the show, so just touch base with Frida at 731-8900.
Perfect.
Yvette, appreciate your call.
Oh, I appreciate your help. Thank you.
And Yvette's line is now, I just want to say one thing. We have, right after this show, we have Marvin Snyder. And he's going to be on this show and talking about health, okay? And that's Mark's Pharmacy, okay? And so he's on right after the show. And it's about health and wealth, okay? I'm getting hands waved at me here from in there. I got an email from Stu Ferguson said he's on right after me, so I hope that's correct. It's next week. It's not this week. Okay, so there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, listeners out there, I was wrong. I screwed up on that one. It's next week right after my show. So we got, I guess we got 3-4 hours about health and wealth. Okay? I'm about wealth. Marvin is about health. Back to back. So again, you want to be healthy longer, you want to be wealthy longer, listen in every Sunday morning and educate yourself about health and wealth. Let's talk to Joseph in Richmond. Joseph, welcome to the program.
Oh, hi, Fred.
Hi, Joseph. How you doing?
No, very well, very well. So listen, I'm phoning because I'd love to get that course that you're offering with Andre from SeeWhy.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the book many years ago when I was taking courses with you. I was also reading that book from the library on becoming a financial advisor.
Oh yeah, okay.
And that book on securities, the securities course, is available in any public library.
Yeah.
But if I can get a copy of those cards, study guide,
it's no problem.
You got it.
It's all yours.
Be very grateful.
Yeah. You know, it's probably fair for me to say right now that I don't know how SeeWhy, and Andre's on the line supporting SeeWhy or representing SeeWhy. I don't know how you guys can stay up to date. I understand that the newest version of the Canadian Securities course, they've added 3 more chapters.
Yes.
Okay, so this stuff is evolving as we speak.
Oh, yes, I know that.
And I guess there's a good reason for that, because the public needs to be educated and the public needs to be protected. There's too many shysters out there.
Well, Fred, it's no different than yourself. That to be in your line of work, you've got to keep up to date. Tax laws are changing, new products are being introduced all the time. So it's very, very similar to your line of work. That we need to again continue to update our materials, and that's why we like the "if you don't pass, you don't pay" approach, because we know our materials are effective if we're not given a bunch of refunds.
Well, I can tell you right now that they are, and I'm testimony to your material. It's fabulous.
Thank you.
It's really, really good. So again, you're listening to the show. You want to advance your financial knowledge. You've just joined us. I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder. I'm also a registered financial planner here with David Ingram, knows more about income tax than anybody that I know, and that's a fact. He does, and specializes in international income tax, cross-border, especially with the U.S. So if you have a question regarding tax, if you're self-employed, you still don't have to file your tax return until June 15th. A lot of self-employed people out there, sole proprietors, don't have to file until June 15th, and a lot of people don't even know that.
Or if all it has to be is you or your spouse. So if you're married and your spouse is self-employed, your tax return's not due until June the 15th either.
So we're teaching you what you need to know to make better financial decisions. And again, we're talking with Andre, who's with SeeWhy. Andre, I still don't have your last name.
It's Samuels.
Andre Samuels.
Samuels. Yes.
Okay, with SeeWhy. Do you have a telephone number you want to give out?
Absolutely. It's 1-888 and then SeeWhy, SeeWhy, which is, if you want it numerically, it's 1-888-973-3949.
Okay. You want to punch that number up on the screen so I can keep giving it out? Okay, we'll give your number out frequently during the show. So again, if you've just joined us, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder, also registered here with David Ingram. We're talking with Andre Samuels, and we have all of our lines open right now, and I'm going to give the numbers out, and when I come back, I want to see all those lines filled. It's area code 604-280-0650, long distance, free call, 877-280-0650. We're talking about your money, more importantly about your money and how to keep it, and the best way to keep it is called financial education. Don't go away. We'll be right back after these messages.
If you'd like Fred to review your portfolio, call his office right now at 604-731-8900. That's 604-731-8900.
Anybody can paint their house, but doing it well is a job that should only be left to professionals.
That's Warren, owner of Warline Painting. The truth is, your home is your most valuable asset. If you hire anyone else but a professional company to paint your home, you run the risk of costly mistakes. Warline Painting does it right and on time, every time.
They were great. They did a really good job taking care of my house. They got the job done on time, they were professional, and the house looks fabulous. I couldn't be happier, and I would recommend them to anybody.
Warline Painting has built its business on providing exceptional quality painting of homes from West Vancouver to White Rock. Their attention to detail and professional service team will make you glad you trusted your home to such a reliable company.
Warline Painting will go above and beyond your expectations. I know it because I built the company that way.
Paint the interior or exterior of your home. Book your consultation now. Visit warlinepainting.ca. Warline Painting, for those that expect and respect quality.
I remember when a burger was a thing of beauty, not some frozen, factory-made, tasteless patty with plastic onions.
Clearly you haven't heard of Split's Grill. They make your burger right in front of you with your choice of fresh toppings and homemade sauces, topped topped off with a handmade, deliciously seasoned patty.
Sounds like a true gourmet burger joint.
It's the way burgers should be made.
When quality matters, come get Splitzed. Splitz Grill, 4242 Main Street at 27th. Visit splitzgrill.com.
Now that's a great burger.
Are you looking for new appliances or a new bed? At Wise Buy Home Wholesale, you pay 30 to 70% less than the big box stores, saving you hundreds, even thousands of dollars on brand name washers, dryers, stoves, fridges, dishwashers, and mattresses, all with the same warranty as the other guys. Compare prices down the road and you'll be blown away. Save 30 to 70% every day. Remember, if you paid full price, it wasn't a Wise Buy. Wise Buy Home Wholesale, 20560 Langley Bypass, west of Glover Road.
Trying to figure out the budget for your next vehicle? How does zero sound? This spring, keep your money during the Ford 5.0 event at Magnuson Ford. That's zero down payment, zero first payment, 0% APR on select 2010 Fords, zero security deposit on all leases, and zero due at time of delivery. Plus, get up to $8,000 in price adjustments. Get all the details and deal directly with the owners at Magnuson Ford, 1 minute west of the Seven Oaks Shopping Center in beautiful downtown Abbotsford. Online at magnusonford.com.
That old house has been dark way too long. Bring in the natural light with Velux. Introducing the no-leak skylight, an affordable way to optimize natural light, energy efficiency, and fresh air in your home. Designed with 3 layers of water protection, the Velux focus has always been to create the most watertight skylight, and they've made it just for you. The future of skylights is here. The no-leak skylight. Visit the Port Coquitlam showroom or online at velux.ca. That's VELUX, the world leaders in skylights and sun tunnels.
Absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Not you, the furniture.
Oh, yeah. I really like our generation furniture, too. The leather power motion reclining sofa is brilliant.
I know. It's really us.
And we are designing geniuses.
The gurus of decorating.
The masters of our domain.
Really?
Explore your inner artist during the grand opening of Generation Furniture on United Boulevard in Coquitlam. Generation Furniture, inspiring the designer in you.
Welcome back to It's Your Money on AM650. If you have a question for Fred, call 604-280-0650. Now, back to Fred.
Okay, we're back. We're live. Stress the fact that this is an interactive show. It's not scripted. It's not preordained in any way, shape, or form. It's live, and it's interactive. And to be interactive, we need your phone calls. So give us a call. We want to talk to you about your money and how to keep it. You may have some comments that you want to make. You may have attended a workshop before. Maybe you want to give us a testimonial or whatever. I'm talking with Andre Samuels, who represents SeeWhy Financial Learning, and that's spelled SEE, capital WHY. And the webpage, I'm on it right now, is www.seewhylearning.com. So if you want to log on and find out more about SeeWhy, you can do that. If you give us a call, we're going to send you a workbook, compliments of SeeWhy, and give us a call, whatever your comment. Let's talk to Helen in North Vancouver. Helen, welcome to the program.
Yes, good morning, David and Fred.
Hi, Helen.
I have something that really concerns me. Is I heard last week that Canada Pension Plan had made a very big investment in Manhattan. They bought apparently real estate.
Good question. I don't know. David might know. I didn't see that. So the Canada Pension Plan, they lost a whole lot of money in the meltdown. I think it was $1.5 billion.
Well, I was just wondering how ridiculous to be purchasing property in the States with the debt load that they're carrying. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're bankrupt. So why would Canada, invest money there? Real estate, real property. It's probably commercial property, but nonetheless. So I just
Donald Trump might disagree.
Pardon?
Donald Trump might disagree with that. I don't know. I can't comment. David just arrived back. So, David, we have a comment regarding the Canada Pension Plan investing in New York real estate being a dumb move. What's your comments?
I didn't think that the Canada Pension Plan could invest. I haven't read that. Didn't know it.
Nor me.
What did you read that?
Well, I just heard it on the radio.
Oh.
That they had bought property in Manhattan.
Well, let me put it this way. I think that likely in the long term, property in Manhattan's not a bad idea. United States is still. Remember back in the 80s when the Canadians went down and bought up Manhattan, and we ended up owning the darn thing because everybody in the States was running away. It's Manhattan's one of the greatest cities in the world, so I don't think it's a bad idea. The only professional qualifications I have is urban land economics, as you know, Fred. That property's been down for so long. And
there's only so much of it. It's pretty limited.
Pretty limited.
Manhattan Island isn't getting any bigger.
Of course, the big claim that's going on right now in the States is back to the United Nations and the world. The world has now said that Canada and the States and everybody's got to go back to a lot more respect for the Aboriginal land claims. So the Seneca tribe in New York has put a claim in for 1/3 of the state. The Oneida tribes put a claim in for 1/3 of the state. So it'll be interesting to see who wins what.
I have a copy of the agreement for purchase and sale of Manhattan Island when the Indians sold it.
The wampum, yeah.
Yeah, so I have a copy of that on my webpage, actually.
Well,
it's interesting. I don't know if they can revoke that.
Well, it's an actual sale. See, 1763, King George III came out with a royal proclamation that said that if the English, remember 1763, before the Declaration of Independence, that if the English wanted to take land, they either had to win it in a battle or they had to buy it. They couldn't just do what we did in BC, and this is the whole history of our land claim problem there. Anyway, that's good information if you've bought some Manhattan.
I can't comment because I'm not knowledgeable
certainly
about
diversification,
that particular issue. Yeah,
diversification.
I think that real estate is an important part of a portfolio. Now, I'm not going to say where the real estate should be, but I recommend that every single person that has to have a roof over their head own the roof over their head. The best investment you can make is your principal residence. And if you have to finance it, then you make the interest on that principal residence or on that mortgage tax deductible. That's the best investment you can make. That's the beginning of your financial plan. After that, you start looking at RRSPs, you start looking at cash accounts, you start looking at bank accounts, TFSAs, GICs, and everything else. But the best investment you can make is the roof over your head, own it, and if you have to finance it, make sure the interest is tax deductible.
Fred, if I hadn't
Step one in my financial plan.
If I hadn't got so comfortable in my chair, I'd get up and walk over and give you a kiss,
run.
But it's so hard.
Plus, if you live in it, the appreciation is tax-free.
That's correct.
Yes.
The appreciation on your house is absolutely tax-free. David and I, we have preached this for years and years and years. That's better than an RRSP. It's better than anything that you can possibly do.
I'm going to make another comment, can I?
Yeah, sure.
I have dealt with literally thousands of people, usually women, who are now in their 50s and coming up to 60 years of age, who in divorces have had substantial amounts of money that have been paid to them. They've gone to a financial advisor, and could be in Halifax and Montreal and Winnipeg, whatever. They put them into investment portfolios that are all now running out, and they have no money left because they've been using their portfolio to support their lifestyle.
They've been selling shares when the market's down.
And you, my friend, and I call you my friend, and I do this with nothing but admiration, have been telling, you would have told any one of those women to buy her apartment first. And I know that because you've done it so many times. And I've never, ever, 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 not once have I met one of your clients who was put into an investment portfolio before buying their apartment or their house. And therefore, I don't know any of your people that went broke in that exact thing. But I could name 15 people right now that are broke from one investment advisor in Halifax alone.
I'll give you, David, if I can, and Helen, please stay with us. And Andre, you're on the line. We recognize that. I want to tell you a story. I'm not going to mention any names. This is a true story. I have a client who was encouraged by her financial advisor in the year 2000 to put a $200,000 mortgage on her condo the day that she retired and invest the money in mutual funds. And these were tech funds. Then he would further advise her to take the tech funds to a bank and use them as collateral to borrow another $200,000 to buy more tech-related funds. The market, as everybody knows, fell off the cliff in March of 2000, and her portfolio declined from $400,000 to $200,000. Now she owes $400,000 on a $200,000 portfolio. Okay? And she went through hell. She had margin calls. She had problems with the tax department over this. She was out of her comfort zone. She didn't understand at all what she was doing. And she trusted this guy and just did what he told her to do. And it became a lawsuit. And she won. Okay? But the point that I want to make is this. You know what really saved her bacon? It wasn't the lawsuit. She didn't get that much out of the lawsuit in the long run. What saved her bacon is that the condo that she lived in went from $300,000 in value to about $750,000.
Yep.
There's where she made her money. She made her money not on the mutual funds. She got it back on the condo in the end.
Once she sold it.
Pardon?
You have to sell it in order
I know, but she was able to refinance the debt load and everything else out of the money that she got out of the lawsuit, that she's in a pretty good position today.
Good.
But had the condo not gone up, she wouldn't have been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she got a home equity line of credit on the condo at very low interest rates, restructured everything to make it tax deductible. She's in a real good position today, but she wasn't. She was in a horrible position when she first came to me. It was horrible. And it's all based on bad advice and her lack of knowledge. And the advisor took advantage of her, totally. Okay, so you have to be careful of situations like this. And I use this as an example because the condo that she lived in, all tax-free gain.
Yeah, but the other part about that, Fred, and I think you'll agree, is that if she had just retired, her income would reduce substantially. And I'll lay odds that that financial advisor, when he was showing her a cash flow or convincing her to do this, was using income from the tech funds to pay
You're completely
loan.
right.
And anybody that does leverage buyouts, that does a leveraged investment, that doesn't have the cash flow from the regular income to fund that leveraged investment should not make the investment.
You're totally right.
You can't count, if you need the money from the investment to fund the investment, it's something that you should not invest in.
In other words, if you can't service the debt out of your regular income, you shouldn't do it.
That's right.
You have to have surplus cash flow before you even look at the investment.
This is just the most basic thing that anybody should know.
Because what happens if the investment goes down, you can't service the debt.
Yeah.
You got a problem. Then you're getting margin calls, et cetera, et cetera.
And you also have to watch out, because you know how much we like Garth Turner, for instance.
Yeah.
Garth was doing a seminar downtown at the Vancouver Convention Center, and he told the people, he gave the borrow $100,000 as an example. One fellow in the properties went out and borrowed $1 million, because if $100,000 is good, $1 million's better. Blew his brains out in the 2,000.
We already know we shouldn't do it. Yeah. Helen, any more comments?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, Helen, appreciate your call. You get dinner at the Thai House and all the stuff we're giving away. Call Frida at 731-8900.
Thank you.
Appreciate your call.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Now, if you've just joined us, I'm certified financial planner Fred Snyder. I'm also a registered financial advisor. I'm talking with David Ingram and Andre Samuels. Andre represents SeeWhy Financial Learning. And SeeWhy is spelled capital S-E-E, capital W-H-Y, all one word, financial learning. You can Google it if you want, or if you want the exact webpage, it's www.seewhylearning.com. And if you go there, you can find out all kinds of information about SeeWhy. And if you call the show, they are providing us with a free workbook that we're going to pass on to you. So this workbook should become part of your financial planning library. We encourage everybody to have a financial planning library. It's one of the reasons I give all these books away. If you call the show, you get dinner at the Thai House. You can get a second opinion on your investment portfolio and a written financial plan. It's complimentary. There's no cost. Simply give us a call. It's be the best call you ever made. So once again, area code 604-280-0650. A long distance free call, 877-280-0650. Everything to gain, nothing to lose. You may be a client already. You may have some comments or a question. You may just have a comment. Give us a call. So once again, area code 604-280-0650. Long distance free call, 877-280-0650. So David and also Andre, this issue, let's get back to this issue of financial education. We all agree, everybody out there, and we here on this show, we all agree that everybody is undereducated financially. Why, in the name of Pete, do they not make a subject out of this and teach it in school? Why? It's just too logical. Now, what's the answer to that, David?
Well, David Hancock House Publishers, produced a whole series of books on this exact topic. I'm trying to remember the date. It'd be 75, 76, 77, something like that. And I was peripherally involved in it. And that series of books was presented to governments all over North America. Mm-hmm. One government accepted the books for their school system, and that was the government of Alaska. The tiny little state of Alaska that had about the population of Victoria.
And that's before Sarah.
Yeah, well, Sarah was not, wasn't even the mayor of Wasilla at that time. I met Sarah Palin. I quite like her as a matter of interest. I met her up in Wasilla, Alaska. Anyway, here's a major publisher who presented the books, and it was a good presentation, but BC just ignored them, and Manitoba ignored them, and Washington ignored them, but Alaska accepted it, and they went for a few years, but the state of Alaska wasn't enough to produce the books.
On this show, I've basically said many times, if you have a corporation and you want me to come and teach my workshops to your corporation, if you are a school teacher and you want me to come and teach this course to your students, if you're on the board of trustees, a school board or whatever, you want this course in your schools, give me a call. If you have any say in a television station, you want me to teach this course on television, I'm available. And I don't charge. I'm quite prepared to do it for free. Now, why in the world do I do this for free, David?
Well, because it's your method of marketing. You're out there, you educate people, and a number of them will come and deal with you, and you can feel good about that. But really what you're doing is you're teaching people how to do. And I'm sure you're like myself, because I've been doing this for years too. Every once in a while, somebody will walk up to me and say, I was at one of your classes, your courses in 1972, and it changed my life. I went out, I bought myself a duplex and something of that nature, and you get such a good feeling. You get a rush from it.
Yeah.
Because of something that you did, and you do it, and I think I do. You do it altruistically. You do it because you enjoy doing it. You do it because you like educating people and showing them the true way, if that's the right word. I just think that what you do, it's why I get up in the morning on Sundays and come out here. I mean, I have to get up 2 hours before my regular get-up time to come out here on Sundays.
So let's get back to Andre. So, Andre, what are your comments on that?
Well, Fred, there's a great organization. I don't know if I can mention the name, but a charitable organization that I volunteered for before.
You can mention their name. Go ahead.
Okay, it's Junior Achievements. I'm not sure. It's called Junior Achievement. I'm not sure if it's in BC. But I volunteered my time one day to go into the schools and work with, I think it was grade 6, young kids, where we basically gave them a fictitious job. If you left high school, if you didn't pursue any more education, here's the type of job you would get, here's your income. And we worked with them that day, pulling out newspapers and finding out how much they're going to pay for rent and how much they're going to pay for food. And it was really eye-opening for them when they realized these kids talking about how they're going to be going on dates and all that kind of stuff, and realized, well, they'd be picking up their dates by bus because it's real hard to make it in this world without a decent income. But it was just fascinating to see their eyes open up and realize things that kids just take for granted these days, to see their eyes open up. And as you know, today's kids are going to be tomorrow's investors. So I think it's important for the whole industry to get behind that and help out in any way they can.
When I lived in Ottawa, I had a fellow come over to my house who was working for All Canadian Investments was the firm at the time, and they had a mutual fund which was based on oil and gas at that time. And he come over, and I had a boarder that lived with me in the house, and we sat at the kitchen table, and this guy gave my boarder this presentation about putting $20 a month into the Canadian Gas and Energy Fund, and said that I forget the number, but I think in 20 years he would have something like $25,000 based on past performance, which may or may not have been true at that particular time, but that was the power of compound interest. And my boarder said, well, I'm not interested. I want to think about it. And the guy said, well, what is there to think about? And he said, I don't know. I just want to think about it. And I'd been sitting there, and I said, I'll take one. I didn't think about it. And the reason why people fail financially is they really don't understand the power of time and compound interest. And you know something? I was 30 years of age, and I didn't either until that particular point in time. Then I understood. The first car I bought, I actually did the calculations. I bought my first car when I was 18. It was a 48 Chev. And I calculated that if I'd have not bought that 48 Chev, which I drove for 1 year, if I'd have delayed buying a car for 1 year and invested that money in a well-known mutual fund, today I'd have $1.3 million. Just by not buying that one auto. Just one. So I easily could have waited a year and invested the same amount of money, but I didn't know better. They didn't teach me in school.
But if you locked the 48 Chev up in a good shape in a garage, you'd have a $20,000
come on,
car
David,
too.
don't be such a devil's advocate for crying out loud. Okay? Sure, if is a two-letter word, but there's a lot of meaning in the word if. So I'm sure David has many stories he could tell like that, and I'm sure, Andre, that you have as well.
Absolutely.
Okay? So the point is that we don't understand the power of time and compound interest. So, Andre, how would you wrap up? Because, we have to go. We got to get on with the second part of our show. How would you wrap up what you do in a nutshell?
We educate people, whether that be to pass an exam and get their license, or just to learn a little bit more about the industry. And we're a big believer in full disclosure, so you can go on our website, get a free demo of what we offer. And again, if your end game is to pass the exam, if you don't pass, you don't pay. So we're real confident that our materials will do the trick for you.
So you guarantee people will pass the exam, or it's free.
Absolutely.
And you're giving away this fabulous workbook, so all people have to do is give us a call, and you'll be happy to forward the workbook on to them.
You bet. You bet.
All right? In fact, you'll forward it on to me, and I'll forward it on to them, okay?
Absolutely.
So I'll let you know how many workbooks are involved. Are you prepared to give any more people that call this show in the next hour the workbook as well?
Absolutely.
Okay, so anybody who calls the show in the next hour that's coming up will also get the workbook. So, Andre Samuels, I can't tell you how much we appreciate having you on. And I can't tell you once again how much I appreciate your material. It's fabulous.
I appreciate that, and thank you for having me on the show.
And our listeners can reach you at 1-888-973-3949.
That's it.
Andre Samuels, SeeWhy Financial Learning. Andre, appreciate you being on. Take care, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, if you've just joined us, I'm Certified Financial Planner Fred Snyder. That offer stays open as far as that workbook is concerned, so you want to get a great workbook. And again, I recommend that the best source of learning anybody who listens to this show can have is the Canadian Securities course. Take it. No problem. Take the mutual fund course if you want as well. Involve yourself. Become obsessed with financial learning and financial education. That's the best thing that you can do to help you achieve financial success. So the next time somebody says to you, is your level of knowledge low, moderate, or high? You'll be able to say it's moderate or maybe even high because I've passed all these courses. Okay, we have calls coming in and we have open lines as well. So we've talked to Andre Samuels, and now it's just David and me. So we'll plug along for the rest of the show. It's 10:07 and we'll be here until 11. So you want to take a step to financial achievement. You want to learn more. You want to get a second opinion on your investment portfolio, a written financial plan, seated in the next workshop, dinner at the Thai House, all complimentary. Simply make a phone call. And remember, next week, again, we have a special guest on here to talk about your health. So it's not just about your wealth. Right after this show, we'll have Marvin Nider talking about your health.